Hello book lovelies and welcome back to the Happy Little Book Nook. I wanted to finish off 2017 with a little bit of a book review for you guys because we haven't done one in a hot minute. So I'm going to do kind of like a speed review of 4 of the books that I have read recently. These guys right here. You will also see more longer reviews on my website, happylittlebooknook.com. But for now, let's speed on through them. So the first one that I've got is All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. I loved this book. I didn't think I was going to love it at first. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I loved her Raven Cycle series. Loved it, loved it, loved it. So, of course, I was like, I'm going to love this one. And I read it, and at first it kind of took me a moment to get into the whole vibe of what it was, but then I loved it. So, basically, to sum this guy up in short, if you've ever thought of the concept of miracles and what it means, or ever wished for a miracle, read this book. I love the spin that she takes on it, and I love the way she describes every single character. If you're familiar with the Raven Cycle, how every character kind of had their own story within the bigger story. Same thing with this one. So definitely read it. I don't want to give too much away because I don't want to spoil it, but it is definitely going to make you think about things. And just the way it's written, kind of like folklore mixed with like an actual story, is just epic. So highly recommend. The next one that I just finished up is The 12 Days of Dash and Lily. This was such a cute book, and I feel like people online have not given it justice with their reviews. People were kind of like, it was boring, or it was too slow, or too whatever. It is cheesy, and it is adorable, and it is sweet, and it's predictable, and it's everything you would want for a Christmas story, let's be honest, guys. There apparently is a book before this, Dash and Lily's Book of Days, which I have not read yet, but I will definitely be reading it. But it's short, you can see. It's like a little over 200 pages. It's a very quick read. You can read it in a day. But it's really cute. It's very heartwarming. Definitely talks about some kind of important things as far as like dealing with challenges at the holidays, whether that's heartbreak or just difficult family members or just things that are going on that just kind of feel like they're trying to dampen your holiday spirit. Read this book. It'll totally fix your mood, totally give you hope, and elevate you. Highly recommend. The next one that I read was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is an arc, so it's not the final cover, but this book was so good. There are definitely some things about it. I only gave it 4 out of 5 stars because there were some things about it I wasn't like totally sold on, but for the most part, really love the story, really love the characters in this book. For those of you who love anything fairy related, so if you love like, let's say the Court of Thorn and Roses series or anything like that, you'll probably really like this because it's definitely in that same realm. The same idea of the Fae and kind of their power struggle versus humans, etc, etc. Human goes into the Fae world and has her own challenges and is trying to get through it, and it's like also kind of like a mix of Game of Thrones because we're talking about like people Fae trying to elevate themselves to get the throne, and who's going to be the king and who's not going to be the king and all that. Highly recommend. People die. I mean, it's pretty intense. It's pretty epic. I devoured this book. I was kind of on a little bit of a reading slump. Got this in the mail from the noveler, and I just devoured it. So highly recommend it. It comes out in January, so be looking for it. Highly recommend. And lastly, I got this book from the novel as well. It is Instructions for a Secondhand Heart. This book just came out this month, so if you're looking for it, you will definitely find it. This book, when I got it, was not quite what I was expecting it to be. It talks about, a kid that wants to get a heart transplant. He's been sick his whole life. He's really hoping to get a heart transplant so he can actually live a normal life. And I thought, that's kind of a cool story. And girl falls in love with the boy who gets her sibling's heart. So it's kind of a weird story of like, if your organ was donated and then you fell in love with the person that had your heart. It's cool. I'm not doing it justice, but it is actually really cool. However, the story is a lot more emotional than I expected it to be. And it does talk about, there's a character in here named Emily who is dealing with cancer. And being that my mom is fighting cancer right now, it was like really hard to read it because the author, Tamsin describes it so well and in such perfect detail, and what it's like to be in the hospital and what it's like to go through these things and the emotions that they deal with, and like the boy, the main character Johnny, how he responds to Emily and kind of how he sees her and calls her chemo girl and like kind of defines her by that, and how do you not be defined by these things that are going on in your life. And it just, there's so much going on in this book. But however, when I got over my initial like, oh, my heart, it was really, really good, and I loved the concept, and I loved that it called attention to people, whether you're young or you're older, that are dealing with really serious like health issues, and how their families and friends are dealing with it, and the emotions that kind of go on both sides, and just that you are still you, and you're still living your life, and you're still totally capable of winning and having an extraordinary life ahead of you. So highly, highly recommend it. It really was sad to me, but again, it's because personally I have a connection with what's going on in this book. But at the same time, it also is like a story of hope. So definitely, definitely recommend. And that's it, guys. That's my quick little like 5-minute, maybe a little over 5-minute book review of 4 books that I've read so far. Again, like I said, I was kind of in a book slump, and these books have definitely got me through it. So if you're looking for really good reads to start out your next year or to finish off this year, highly recommend these guys. They're phenomenal. I will link the deets down below. And again, go to happylilbooknook.com. I'm trying to post a book review every day now, like in a row. Just keep posting because I am so far behind. So I will give you more details and be like a little more spoilery in there. But until next time, happy reading, book lovelies.